Great morning, great morning, great morning. I am Nicole D. Jones, and I am just happy and grateful for another day. I'm happy and grateful for life. I don't take days for granted. I don't take you for granted. I come here every week to remind you that you are healthy, you are wealthy, you are prosperous. Everything your hands go to touch, it must, it shall, and it will manifest, prosper, and grow great things because you are great. You are great. You are created in greatness, okay? You are loved. You are loved and you give love. That is your original DNA. We are dual citizens. I say this all the time. We're dual citizen. Kingdom, kingship, that is our original DNA. And it's who you are. We don't have to be perfect. We are striving for perfection because we're created in perfection. But the purpose of this journey is to keep pursuing. All right. It's the pursuing of your purpose. So I'm going to remind you every week. Before I start, I want to give a shout out to, this is like so weird because I don't have my iPad. But anyway, shout out to my sister-in-law, Rhonda Jones. Rhonda has published a book, Dimes, Dollars, and Dreams. She is a financial advisor. So she has actually published a book. It is dedicated to her brother. This is a vision that she's had for about 5 years, and it is now here. So follow her, if you will, on Instagram. It is Curious Calvin Books. Okay. You can purchase one. She has it in hardback. She has it in softback. But if you will, go and support her vision, because this is the thing. We all have purpose. This is purpose. This was purpose for young people. It's actually, it starts elementary and older, because I read it and got something out of it. But it has been created and given to where elementary level, it'll keep their attention. So everything about the story comes from her. It's purpose in her life. And again, if you can support that, definitely support her by following her and Calvin. That's Calvin. On Instagram at Curious Calvin Books. All right. And then her website is on there as well. So it's Meal Prep Monday. And what I wanted to share with you guys, I was very torn because I've had an interesting. I'm in an interesting place, and so the natural side of me wanted to cancel, and then the original DNA in me was like, it isn't even about what you feel or what you think. It's about what you're supposed to do. I'm the first one to say that, we're not supposed to be led by our flesh. We're led by our spirit. So how dare I be the one to say that and not be that? So we're here, Meal Prep Monday. I want to remind you, I already reminded you about meal plan. God had to remind me after this weekend, like I had to be reminded of the vision he gave me: mindset, education, accountability, lifestyle. All right. So when things happen, when life happens, if it's at the hand of you or at the hand of someone else, we have to make sure that we are responding from our spirit. All right. Because I told you, we're learning to be good stewards over our soul. So we gotta deal with the natural side of things, but we've got to always make sure that at the end of dealing with self, at the end of dealing with emotion, flesh, and all of that we line back up with spirit. All right. This is what I had to do today. So I was like, I think I was talking to, well, I know I was talking to Danielle last night. I was like, man, I don't even know if I want to do the call. I don't have anything. And when you're in that place where you're so heavy, like what I don't want to do is just come on here and just be talking, all right? But this morning, he reminded me of dealing with the wrong attitude. So, of course, the first thing, I'm like, yeah, because their attitude is wrong or whatever. Like, how do you deal with that? But before you can deal with anybody else, you got to deal with yourself. All right. So this weekend has been very trying for me. But at the end of the day, it's at the hand of me. This is the thing. And please hear me very clearly, because this is what I feel he's been saying to me. Because words stick. All right. Words stick. And you will get to a place where you own them. You'll take ownership of it. So I started thinking back, because you can only think back on your life. All right. And one thing that I won't do, I'll never forget who I am. But I also have to remember that there's a spirit with a soul that's wrapped in this flesh. And at the end of the day, we war with ourselves. We war with our flesh, okay? So we do things regardless if they're good intentions or not. Like I tell you all the time, good intentions will pave you to a road of hell. So you make decisions, you do things out of good intent, good intentions, or at least you're trying to, because at the end of the day, things that you do, they spill over from one place to another. So you make the decision that you think is right at the time. But anytime a decision is deceitful, anytime a decision, see, some people will say, because I'm not a liar. Well, let's just be very clear. I'm not a liar. All right. But here's the thing. Have I lied? Absolutely. Can you do things and it be deceitful? Yeah. Because some people feel like, well, if I don't say nothing, I ain't lying. But then, I don't know, same bucket, tomato, tomato. At the end of the day, it's not right. Okay. So there are some things that you have to deal with. But let me tell you why I'm saying all this today. You can't stay at the hand of a bad attitude, though, be it if it's yours or someone else's, because we're all human. We all make mistakes. God has never told us to be perfect. I say this, we're created out of perfection. The moment I am perfect, I pray God takes me. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it in the sense of understanding that in and of myself, I can't be perfect. But when he allows me to arrive at that place of perfection, I want to go to glory. All right? Because if you leave it at the hand of our self, our flesh, we were born in sin. Okay? So every day we're on this journey, we have to learn to die to ourselves so that the spirit of you can raise up. But when things happen and words start to come, what people need to understand is you can say something and it be done. But there is an adversary that wants to kill, steal, and destroy you. So where the person stops talking, the enemy don't come with nothing new. And what do people want to do? They want to bring who you were to you, because the enemy don't come with nothing new. The residue of all that is still on you. All right. So now you go through this war, because what do we understand? The only battlefield is your mind. All right. It's your mind. So then you start warring with yourself. You're not even warring with the person anymore. Okay. You're warring with the words. You're warring with the residue. You're warring with the thing that tries to come and kill, steal, and destroy you. All right. So let me tell you where I'm at this morning. All right. The first thing you got to understand is everyone has a bad attitude. All right. Nobody, you nor me, is exempt from a bad attitude. All right. The nicest person, if you push them and you touch that, you hit them in that shanana on that right nerve, you'll be like, oh my God, where did they go? That's why anyone who's super nice that I know, they can tell you, I'm the first one to tell you, I don't want to see you mad. Jacinta, sweetest person. I tell Jacinta, I don't want to see you mad. Anyone who knows Jacinta will be like, Jacinta, no way. All right. If Jacinta on the thing and she want to be honest, ask Jacinta, what happens if you push that right button? All right. We all can fall to a bad attitude. But here's the thing. Meal Prep Monday. This is what I want you to understand. It's your attitude. Your attitude is only your response to what has happened to you. All right. See, we think that this attitude is the character of somebody. No, my bad attitude is not my character. My bad attitude is not my integrity. My bad attitude is not who God created me to be. Can I have a bad attitude? Absolutely, because we respond to things. But what is your responsibility? So the first thing I want you to understand is that your attitude is only your response to what has happened to you, all right? Put some stuff in perspective. Life is what happens to you, but it's your response to the things that happen that you're responsible for, all right? So you can't say somebody made you be disrespectful or somebody made you. Listen, when words come out of your mouth, they're your true heart, all right? Be it if it's temporary, be it if it's longevity, be it if it's the heart that you just not willing to tell somebody. Listen, this is why you got to make sure you're always in the right posture, not position. We've talked about there's a difference between your posture and your position. So check this out. You have a choice of how you respond to what someone does to you. You have to make a decision on how you allow it to affect you, because it's only your actions that's your responsibility. Now, I'm the type of person, something hurt me, I usually laugh or I give it right back to you. You say I'm these things, yep, that's what I am. Yep, that's what I am. Yep, that's what I am. But let me tell you what God has shown me the danger in that is, because I ain't doing that no more. I'm not going to do that anymore, because the danger in that is when you accept it, you give the enemy more to play with. All right? So don't do that, because when you do it, your attitude becomes bad. You get a bad attitude, and only you can rob you from your day. Hear me very clearly. Well, Nicole, you don't know what they did to me. I don't. But what I do know is when you give them that of you, you've just released yourself. Self-control is the best control to have. Now, is it always easy? Absolutely not. Well, no. Actually, I'm not even going to say absolutely not. It becomes easy the more you die to you. The more you die to self, the more God can come. See, I'm looking at some things because, like I said, words stick. And anyone who knows me, I got delayed reaction. All right? Good intentions is what I try to live by. But I understand, and I'm not in denial that my good intentions sometimes hurts people. It hurts me, all right? You can have good intentions of something. You can your heart can be in the right place. You can be trying to make it better and you make it worse. Trial and error. But the problem becomes when you don't learn and grow. All right? When things happen, you got to make sure that the people around you can give you grace. And this is why, because it ain't about the people. You just start using things to know how to gauge who has access to you and why. Because I tell y'all, personal growth and self-development, that's why we do this every week. We are learning to grow, all right? But at the end of the day, the BIBLE, that is the #1 book. I will promote Rhonda's book all day. But even she will agree that this is #2 on the bestseller. #1 is the BIBLE, all right? So let me tell you what Jehovah God says. All right. Jehovah God says that there is a measure of grace that's given to each one of us. All right. There's a measure of grace that he gives to each one of us for our individual bumps in the road. All right. None of us know when that grace is going to end. All right. Let me find this in my note. Forgive me, because where my notes will be, I'm actually streaming from, because I don't know where my iPad is. But let me find it, because I just wrote it this morning about grace. So it's a measure of grace that's given to each one of us. All right. So we got to be careful of how much, I can't find it, but I know what I'm thinking. We got to be careful of how much of this journey we give away to a bad attitude, because you never know when the grace that's coming from God is going to end. And what you don't want is to be caught in your attitude, not being in the right posture, and your grace is gone. See, this journey is so much bigger. This is why I say it's never what we go through, it's how we choose to get through it. All right. Never what you go through, but you can't be willing to continue to go through things when you know there's no grace. All right. Because if there's a measure of grace, and then the people around you like can't humanize you, and they want to keep you somewhere, listen, it's stressful. All right. But what you have to understand is that you have to make a decision on how you want to allow it to affect you. We will all receive a measure of grace. You are then responsible for your choices of your survival. This is from the Bible. Right? Everything I done got is something that came out of the Bible, and it's what I believe the Holy Spirit, because we all have the Holy Spirit in us. I don't care how you living. We are spirit with a soul wrapped in this flesh. Nobody can ever tell you who you are or where you are with God. All right? Only you know. You could be the one in the pool pit, got everybody fooled, but at the end of the day, it's only God that knows your heart. So you don't let other people dictate it. Now, this is what blew me this morning. All right? This is what blew me. Let me find it. Disobedience, because you're in a bad attitude. That at the end of the day is disobedience, because you're in that what we call free will. But God don't give us free will; He gives us permissive will. Because you got to think about it, or maybe free will, maybe free and permissive mean the same. Y'all, I didn't go look it up this time. I will. But what I mean is, and the way I saw it when I was preparing, God had to give us this permissive will where He gives you permission of your will, because God is perfect. So if God, I'm telling y'all, listen, this can't come from, we all spirit. If God is perfect and He gave us, and he created us all, He had to give us permissive will with our flesh, because our flesh came into sin. If He didn't, then that would mean that God would have to alter. God can't alter. He's just yay and amen. He can't change. He is not sin. Never has been, never will be. He never promotes it. But our permissive will, He gives us permission. So He gives us the right way. But He gives you free will, permissive will, to then decide what you're going to do with your situation. All right? I hope that makes sense. Because when you're not in God's will, you're disobedient. It's one or the other. Ain't no in between. You either doing what He said to do and you killing your flesh, or you're not. Okay? So disobedience is the thing that shortens the distance between pleasure and pain. Oh, Lord. And this is what's funny. Listen, when you chose to disobey, Don't be mad at what your pain causes. You can't get, you disobey. Then when you listen, you don't want to be a tither. Then when your money tight and you got to work yourself to death, you mad at God. Why? When he done told you, God don't need your money, all right? You tithe and you keep 90% because his 10% is more than the 100% could ever be. Anyway, so meal prep Monday, because see now, I just don't want you to blame God for your decisions. And let me get back, because I want us to understand that we all can have a bad attitude. Things happen. And you know, at the end of the day, I caused the bad that happened because of decisions I made. But this is the thing. When I go to God and ask for forgiveness, I got to do what I got to do to walk out my forgiveness, regardless if you want to forgive me or not. This does not mean I'm being dismissive. I'm not trying to make excuses or justify anything. I don't have to do that because at the end of the day, on judgment day, it's only God that knows my true heart. Okay? It's only God that knows my true heart. But what I do want is the right posture. What I do understand is grace only goes so far. What I do understand is there's consequences to all that I do. What I do understand is every one of my decisions is going to lead me to pleasure or pain. I can't handle somebody else's part of that. I can only handle mine. So listen, you have to make a decision on how you want to allow attitudes to affect you. Because if you around someone that has a bad attitude, how long you think yours is going to be good? You fighting with yourself. Stop fighting with people and fight with yourself, because I don't know if y'all want to admit it, but it's a fight within you. You enough to fight with. For my super D, you perfect, don't do nothing wrong. We all sin and fall short of the glory. If we could just grasp that, we wouldn't be doing this. Because the more you do this, you discredit these fingers and the thumb that's pointing at you. All right? So when you're dealing with someone that has an attitude that they don't want to deal with, don't kill them. Let them die. Homicide and suicide, two different things. And we all, this ain't me throwing shade. Don't feel like you got to retaliate, because we don't fight with flesh and blood. Okay? Don't feel like that. Don't do that to yourself. All right? You also got to know that this journey, it messes with your attitude. All right? This journey is created to mess with your attitude. Why? Because as you learn the pleasure and pain, everything that happens to us, it is for us to learn to die. All right? You gotta die. You gotta get to a place where you can see yourself, you can learn about yourself, and you can deal with yourself. All right? You gotta know that the enemy don't come with nothing new. This meal prep Monday, all right, it's so heavy. But hey, I've been heavy, all right? And because I'm heavy and I'm gonna be honest about it, I'm trying to help you because I don't want you to be heavy. I don't want you to stay in places, okay? At the end of the day, I want you to know that every one of us got a snake attitude, all right? Every one of us is capable of having one. Every one of us is sinful, and every one of us falls short, okay? I'm not saying it for you to, don't take the posture of just, oh yeah, I did it all right. I mean, it is what it is. No, because the truth of that, that's arrogant and proud. When you can't even communicate, dialogue, talk things out, it got to be all this, that, and the third. Listen, that's arrogance and pride. It's not submission and humility. And we are the best versions of us because we understand that's what we need to do. So you do what you got to do for you, so that you keep your attitude right. Because at the end of it, no matter how much a person want to look at you and deal with you and stay mad and do whatever they want to because of you, they got to account to God for that. You don't. You got to worry about you. So you got to worry about keeping your attitude right. Understanding that when things happen, you got to deal with the natural side of it. But I promise y'all, don't stay there. Keep going to the spirit. Okay? If you got to be silent, because words stick. For me, I am a thinker. I'm a thinker. I think the next thoughts. I think the next thought. I think the next thought. So just as deep as I think is as deep as my battle is in me. I understand this. That's why he had to deal with me this morning. He, Jehovah God, had to deal with me this morning. Okay? So don't let what you're going through ruin your attitude. Don't let that happen. All right? Your attitude is like your outfit. So we got to learn with that bad attitude, let's make it a jacket. All right? Unzip the jacket, hang it up, and put it so far in the closet that you can't even reach it. All right? Learn to dress ourselves, because how we get dressed, how long can you stay in dirty clothes? This my dad's. Y'all shout out to me. Listen, this my dad. Listen. All right, he wore dollars if they won or didn't win. So when I'm feeling some kind of way, you know, women, when we feeling low, well, I don't, but like a lot of people I know, you know, girly girls, y'all make your face up and all that. I don't. I really don't. That don't make me feel better. It's stuff like this that makes me feel better. But my point is, when we feel a certain way inside, we try to dress it up on the outside. All right? We do things that make us feel good. So I want you to start looking at your attitude like the way you're attire. If I was going through for a week and just never took this off, how long is it going to be able to stay clean and smell good? Look at it like your attitude. All right? And check your attitude every night, just like you got to unclothe yourself. All right? Keep the right attitude and don't let other people's attitude dictate yours. Yeah, you fell into it. Listen, I fell into mine because words sting. Words sting. And at the end of the day, even if you're the reason that it happens, that does not mean that you got to be the reason to let someone beat you up. You got to know when to retreat. I've got to learn to stop throwing myself into it. You this, and this. Yep, I am. And now I'm heavy for 48 hours. You got to learn how to take the clothes off. But when I say take the clothes off, take your bad attitude off, not the other person. Deal with you. All right? I don't like waking up. I don't want that. All right? You got to be able to deal with it with you. And like I said, let that person kill themselves. Kill themselves. Suicide, not homicide. You commit homicide, you going to jail. Then you'll be in bondage. We don't want to do that. But it's Meal Prep Monday. It's 10:30. I probably sound like I was on a soapbox, but today's for me. I'm definitely going to record this or, put it together. I got to put all of them up. And I'm going to listen for me. But I hope that you leave this. This was not to make you heavy. This is really to self-check. We are learning to be the best version of us unapologetically because we can submit to the Spirit. We can submit to Jehovah God, all right? So that we can walk in this journey humble, understanding that through this journey, flesh is what leads us first, all right? But it is the Spirit that we have to do. We have to live from our original DNA. That's the spirit of you, because only you can steward your soul. So I want you to stay humble. I want you to stay focused. I want you to stay positive. Be the best version of you unapologetically. Do it with a posture of submission and humility. And then the warring and the battle, because it's only in your mind, it's internal. They'll start getting smaller and smaller. All right? So I am Nicole D. Jones, and I want you to continue to have a fantabulous rest of the day. Smooches.